This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. Tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks got a win tonight over the Portland Trailblazers, 128-98. They did exactly what we expected and wanted them to do, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of you are like, who cares? Just tank it away. But that's not the way I feel. You know what I mean? I want the Knicks to get every win that they can get. They got a good win tonight, led by R.J. Barrett. Let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. We got Tony. We got Steph in the building. Tony, what's going on, man? You muted, bro. You muted.
Excuse me. Shout out to the chat. What's good, son? Peace, Queen. Your blackest time. Good win. Good team win.
Yeah, good win. I mean, starting from
great first half.
Right. Starting right from the first quarter. I mean, the ball movement in the first quarter was magnificent. You know what I mean? And, you know, you wonder, like, where was this all season long, this kind of ball movement? We've seen it in spurts.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, you know, tonight, from the beginning of the game, the ball movement was just there. It's like Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff was going over it, right? They were going over it. They had a chance to practice a little bit, and they were going over it, and pounding it into them. Move the ball. Steph, what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something the coaching staff has been talking to them about all season. But like you said, they probably got into practice and pounded it in that you have to move the ball. And they did that tonight. The other thing I want to point out, Sim, in the third quarter, when we had a 17-point lead and it got down to 8, right? I took some notes. Got down to 8. There was a timely shot by Fournier that pushed it to 10. Then we got a stop. Then Burke hit a shot to put us to 12. Then we got another stop. Then Barry hit a 3. Portland scored. Randall scored to put us up by 15. We got a 24-second shot violation. The point I'm trying to make is when a team is making a run, if you want to stop that run, you got to score, obviously, and you got to stop them from scoring as well. Sometimes we look at the stat sheet, we be like, oh, so-and-so had 30 points, so-and-so had 24 points. But I'm looking at where in that game did you get those points? We need all of it. Don't get me wrong. We need all of it. But when a team is making a run, that's when we need to score. And the Knicks were able to do that, and they were able to get those stops. And you could say, you know, it's because it was a G League team and 10-day contracts, whatever. But I've seen G League players on 10-day contracts cut the Knicks up, you know. And I thought today, you know, the Knicks did what they're supposed to do to hold the lead. And hopefully, if this ever happens again with better teams, we'll be able to do the same.
Right. And you're right. They did just that. You know what I mean? Anytime that particular moment, Tom Thibodeau called the timeout, right? Because the Portland Trailblazers were making a run. He called the timeout, came back, and exactly what you described happened. And I was relieved there because I was a little bit nervous. I was like, man, we're letting these guys get in the game. We're letting them get comfortable. We're letting them get hot. We got lazy. As a matter of fact, it was I think Julius Randle turned the ball over, and then they came down on a fast break, and the dude went right behind Evan Fournier. I don't know if it was Josh Hart. Maybe it was Josh Hart. You know, passed it up between 4 New York Knicks defenders. Easy layup, right? Because the Knicks were jogging back in transition defense. Tom Thibodeau called the timeout. You seen him fussing at Evan Fournier, right? And then the Knicks came back and pushed the lead back up to 15 that quick. And that's exactly how you're supposed to respond.
Right.
You know what I mean? Exactly how you're supposed to respond. Something else that I seen that I think it just looks like they were working on it in practice, you know, because they did have, the last time they played was what? What's today? Wednesday? Last time they played was Sunday, right? Yeah. So they had a couple of days off, a couple of days to practice, and you seen them working the sideline, right? They get the ball, even if it's not in transition, they got the ball up the sideline for a quick shot. You know what I mean? You seen Julius Randle get it up to Evan Fournier, 3. Same thing on the opposite side of the ball. I think we've seen Alec Burks get it up to RJ. RJ get it up to Alec Burks, you know, on the opposite side of the floor, pushing it up the sideline. And that's such an effective offense, even when an opposing team scores. You know what I'm saying? Get the ball out, get it up the sideline, have your big man run in the middle of the floor, everyone run in their lanes, and, you know, try to get easy transition buckets that way, even out of a score. And it looked like they were doing that tonight. Tony, what do you think? You see the same thing?
Absolutely. I think we've seen it all year, but not from all our bigs in one game. You know what I mean? I think we've seen Obi make that conscious effort throughout the year, periodically. I think Sims, as he gets more minutes, we've seen it. And I don't even know if with Sims, I think with Sims, it's more of a read from the passer than it is for him necessarily calling for it. But Obi's been calling for it all year. And yeah, I agree. I think it's been a conscious effort to find these guys.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. And you know, when you can run a transition offense out of a score and convert, you know, that's good basketball. I know we were playing the Trailblazers who had a bunch of, you know, G League guys on the team, you know what I mean? But it's the perfect time to practice some things. You know what I mean? I think you heard Clyde say, you know, Julius Randle in the beginning was trying to go right. You know what I mean? And maybe the Knicks looked at this and said, hey, you know, let's you know, we should beat this. Hopefully they didn't say to themselves we should beat this team, but you know, they might have and said, hey, let's go out here, let's work on some things that we really want to do. Because, and what made me think about this is there was a time in the first quarter when Julius Randle went and double teamed, what's his name?
Was it Watford?
Watford, yeah. And I was like, why is he double teaming this guy? You know what I'm saying? Then I thought to myself, well, maybe it's something that they want to work on. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I was like, why are they double teaming this dude? You don't need a double team. But the Knicks look good. 128 points. They look good. Let me run through the box score real quick. RJ Barrett, he led the team in scoring, 31 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. I think he had 20 points at the half. Right. I thought maybe he was going to be able to go for 40 tonight. Shot well from the field. It was 50% from the field. It was 45.5% from the 3-point line. He was 6 for 7 from the free throw line. All right. Julius Randle, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He didn't really shoot well from the field. Shot 27.8% from the field. It was 0 for 5 from the 3-point line, but he got to the free throw line. He was 10 for 12. We talked about it in the game preview.
Right.
These two guys, they're doing a great job of getting to the line. And Julius Randle is using that side-to-side swipe like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know, like, over the last 20 games, you know, how many side-to-side swipe fouls he gets in the game. You know, because he's really learning how to utilize that.
And
Mitchell
that's
Robinson,
a basketball IQ play. Excuse me.
It is. Yeah, you're right. It is. Right. That's a basketball IQ play. You know, I think it shows growth in the offensive side of his game.
I think offensively, I agree with you, Sam, about the development of a team. Think about how many big leads we had. We lost them, but the fact that we were able to get them against good teams lets you know the offensive firepower that is on this team. And we're just now learning how to close. You're going to carry that into next season as well. So the Knicks may not make any changes. Even if they don't, I think we're going to be better. But if we can get a point guard, I think,
Yeah.
I think we're going to be even better, in my opinion.
And I think that's what they're going to do. I think they've got to realize that. And I'm hoping that the front office, that's where their focus really is. And they're like, we got to do whatever we got to do to get a really a good point guard in here, and not wait for scraps to fall off the heat. You know what I mean? Like really go out and get you a point guard, because I think that's going to make a world of difference with this basketball team. You know what I mean? Finding yourself a point guard that can really settle things down. We talk about it every show. Finding a point guard that can really settle things down. Step or Tony, and then I'll come back to Steph. If the front office doesn't do that, I mean, if they don't do that, then I don't know. Someone has to do something. If they don't go out and say, we got to get a point guard. What?
I know this is not a popular opinion, and if you would have asked me this coming into the season, I would, or even some points during the season, I would not be making this comment. But if Quickly can make the type of progression into next year that he did, showing pretty much in summer league and then moving forward, I wouldn't be mad at him starting at point guard moving forward or next year, because we got it. As bad as he was shooting the ball early in the year, that was the only problem with him, really. You know what I mean? Like every other aspect of his game improved. So again, if he can continue that progression, I wouldn't be mad, and I think we are more successful in it.
Yeah. Listen, I still think Quickly has a ways to go to be that kind of a point guard. Obviously his decision making is up in the air. I don't know when the Knicks need to be settled down if he's the guy to do it. But I was watching him play tonight, and several times, especially in that second unit, you see him, he pulled the ball out, direct somebody, tell him where to go. One time, Jericho Sims was trying to post up. He told Jericho Sims, get out the way because I'm giving the ball to RJ down there. Now, it resulted in a turnover, you know what I'm saying? But the idea was right. Get out the way. I'm giving the ball to RJ right here. I've seen him several times direct traffic, move people out the way, and try to put the team in position to get a good shot. And sometimes he called his own number. But that's okay. That's all right. You know what I'm saying? The fact that he's trying to control the team, you know what I mean? And be that facilitator out there, be the captain out there on the floor, be the leader out there on the floor means a lot. Now, he's doing that with the young guys because, he's 22 years old. He's like the second oldest of the young guys that's out there, you know what I mean? Or maybe third oldest. 24 for Obi, 23 for Jericho Sims, 22 for IQ. You know what I'm saying? But he's got the ball. He's probably got the most attitude, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like, bravado of the young guys that's out there. You know what I mean? So that's the perfect time for him to learn how to do that. And then he's got to take that and be able to do it with the starters, which would probably be a couple of years before he's able to do that. You know what I mean? And that's just the maturation of a young man, with a group of other young men that's in the league. But I can see it. I see him doing some of those things out there. At least I seen it tonight.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's got to do it against stiffer competition too, though.
Agreed.
And in the starting lineup with Randall and RJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So I would like to hear Queen's answer to that question that you asked me, but I just also want to reiterate to the chat, especially Anthony D and Big Bubba, who are going at me for saying what I just said. But I do believe the context of your question was, if the organization does not bring in a point guard,
right?
What do we do moving forward? So it's funny how everybody's complaining about Burks in the starting lineup, and I went away from that, and I go Quickly, and you guys are still saying, "Oh, Quickly's not a point guard." So I would like to hear what Isaiah thinks we should do if we don't bring in a point guard. And also Mr. Anthony D. Shout out to you.
Yeah, but you know, these are the TMZ guys. Like these are the TMZ type of guys. They're gonna clip one little thing you said. Oh, Tony said Emmanuel quickly should be the point guard. Where you're speaking, if the front office does not get a point guard, how do you handle the situation going forward? You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, they'll clip that little piece and say, "Oh, Tony said Emmanuel quickly has to do it." But Steph, what do you think? Well, if they don't get a point guard, one, what do they do? How do they handle it how do they handle it? If they came back with the same exact squad, how do they handle that point guard position? And then how would you feel about the front office if they don't go get a point guard?
If I would be very disappointed, Sim. And I get it that, you know, there may not be a lot of point guards available. I would get Rubio coming off of surgery. You know what I mean? And off of injury,
Okay.
and see how he work out. I would put a package together, and somebody may not be selling. I would just offer it to him. I know you're not thinking about trading this guy, but I'm wondering if this will get it done. You know, that's what I would do. If we did have to come back with this same team, I think I would go with IQ. I mean, I don't think he's a finished product at that point guard position. I don't even know if that's his prime position. But like you said, he's getting better at it. It wouldn't, you know, RJ's still going to handle the ball. Randall's still going to handle the ball. So it's not like it's going to be quickly himself doing all of the playmaking and setting those guys up. I think it's going to be kind of like it is with Burke, almost positionless. Whoever gets it, brings it down, initiate the offense. I would prefer that over McBride, who's been in the league 1 year, hasn't got a lot of playing time this year. I'm not comfortable putting McBride in the starting lineup next year. Now let's see what happens in training camp. So we're talking about what's the best of the worst situation if we have to come back with this team. And I think IQ is the best of the worst, if you know, is one way to put it.
Yeah, he might be. I think when you look at the roster right now, you know, a lot of it's going to remain the same. I think they're going to be, you know, moves made to bring in a point guard. The Knicks aren't going to have a lot of money to spend, even with Joakim Noah's $6 million coming off the books. The Knicks, I mean, that's being eaten up by Cam, right? So there's not going to be a lot of money to spend for a point guard. You're going to have to get one in trade or through the veterans minimum.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's where a guy like Ricky Rubio comes in, you know, getting him through the veterans minimum. And, you know, hopefully, you know, when he does come back, you know, he'll be able to play, you know. But if you bring in a Ricky Rubio, oh, man, I mean, let's say there are no other changes made. And I see LES Daily said trades got to happen. I do agree. Trades got to happen. Something, you got to clean up the glut somewhere.
Right.
Right. But if you bring in Ricky Rubio, are you starting him if you bring him in?
How old is he?
If he's ready to go, he's ready to go.
We might have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not over the hill, right? He's like early 30s.
31,
Early
32
30s.
maybe.
Yeah, 31, 32, somewhere around there. Early 30s.
I would. If he's healthy and ready to go, I would.
And then, okay, so if you bring in Ricky Rubio, you can bring him in most likely for the veterans minimum, right? So then, but then this means you still have, well, you know, who knows what happens with Kemba. I'm assuming that they're paying him $9 million for next year, right? So I guess they could waive him.
I think it's waiver trade. I don't think he's accepting a buyout. I think that's kind of the terms. He made up the money he lost in the buyout in the other team. I think he wants his money more than anything. So I think he's either going to stay away, get waived, or get traded.
Right. Yeah.
Is his defense that bad? Somebody said Rubio equals Kemba.
No, Rubio's always been a good defender. he's been a bad shooter. He's gotten better lately,
Mm-hmm.
but he's always been a good defender. You know what I mean? But if you bring in Rubio now, okay, so let's assume how some way Kemba's gone, but you still got Quickly and Deuce and McBride. I mean, Deuce and McBride, Quickly, Deuce, Grimes, Derrick Rose, Alec Burks.
Another
You know,
move
you
has
still
to
got
be made.
all these guards. You know what I mean? Something has to be done. And if a trade is not made and you bring in Ricky Rubio, you're also going to have a draft pick. So
Yeah.
I just can't see an off season. I cannot see an off season where the Knicks don't make some moves to clean up the roster. You know what I mean?
If somebody wants our players, I mean, their value is down. You know.
Yeah, I just can't see moves to clean up the roster and bring in a point guard. And I see everyone. I guess some people like have caps over their ears or something like that. People, you're talking about shopping at the 99-cent store. No, we're talking about what if the front office does not get a point guard. We obviously want to go get a point guard, a young point guard. But if it doesn't happen, then you got to have some kind of a backup plan. So we're just discussing what could that backup plan be? What might they be thinking? Pretty sure the Knicks got a war room with a bunch of players' names on the board. You know what I mean? And they're going to figure out how to go get those players. That's all we're saying.
Right. And remember, the Knicks don't have any cap space.
Yep.
So if we don't trade for anyone, nobody accepts our players, we're kind of stuck.
Kind of stuck.
You're not starting a draft pick. You're not starting a rookie.
Under what
Right.
circumstances are you able to use a mid-level exception, and are you not?
I mean, I think you have the mid-level exception.
Because that's
to
about
use.
10 million
Yeah,
for Rubio
I'm not
right
sure
there.
what it is. I'm not sure how much it is, but I think you have the ability to use that mid-level exception. Obviously, there are some salary parameters on how much you can spend with that mid-level exception. So we'll see how that goes. Back to the game. Another thing that I saw, and I'm pretty sure you all saw it too, because Breen and Clyde was talking about it. RJ Barrett pulling together that group of young players and having a discussion with them before they went out there, or maybe they were already out there on the floor, but I don't know. But pulling them together and having a discussion with them. You know what I'm saying? And RJ says, this is something that he tries to do frequently, but what's your take on that, Steph?
I like it. I like it. I never see the Knicks huddling. And actually talking about and just trying to stay focused. So I definitely like that. Everybody was engaged. It wasn't like, one person was wandering off. So that lets you know that he has their respect. Now they really young. So what are they gonna, do? But anyway, I just liked his response, whatever he said to them, stay focused, whatever. I liked it.
Yeah. Tony?
I liked it as well, but to be honest, I don't think that's something that I haven't seen from RJ already. I think he's been doing that with that second unit when he's on the floor with them. I think he did it last year as well with Quickly and Obi when he was on the floor with them. But definitely encouraging. I think the more he's out there with them, the more he needs to do that, and it gives him like it's another way to establish himself. I'll be really enthused when I see him do that with the starters and have the starters just as engaged with whatever it is that he's telling them. I do have a question. What do you think Randall said to that dude after he dunked on him?
I didn't get a chance to slow it down and try to lip read what he said, but it wasn't nice.
It was animated.
It wasn't nice. They must have been bumping around a little bit or something. It took me by surprise. I didn't think I expected him to do his little double clutch, try to lay it in, but instead he banged it on him. But I agree with you, about RJ and learning how to do that with the starting group. You know what I mean? But I also think that's going to take time. right? For him to gain, that I think he already has the respect, but to gain that kind of respect in that group,
Right.
but doing it with the younger group, right? That's a good training ground
Hmm.
for him. Tony, do you think when Grimes comes back, do you think McBride goes back to, not getting any playing time? Or do you think at this point he's like, let me keep Deuce out there. We'll put Grimes at the 3. You might be a little bit small, but we'll be okay. What do you think happens?
That's tough. I hope they both get the minutes. I hope they both get to see the floor. Um, I like what Grimes has been doing, and I think Tibbs has too. I think he just needs to get a little bit more aggressive at times. I think that might keep him on the floor because at this point, you know, I'm sorry, McBride has to get a little bit more aggressive. Grimes, he's been told he got the green light and he's been encouraged to shoot. So he's not going to hesitate anymore. You know what I mean? He's going to come in and he's going to put up shots when he's open. I think McBride has to get to that point to either way. He's taking initiative. I like this play tonight. Took an open shot when they left him open. Didn't necessarily look for the pass first. But I think we're gonna need more of that for him to stay on the floor. Because Grimes does the same thing defensively. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But gives more offense.
Yeah. What do you think, Steph? What do you think happens when Grimes comes back?
Hopefully he gets an opportunity to play. Maybe Burks plays less minutes. Um, I'm hoping McBride also gets an opportunity to play. I mean, do we really need Derrick Rose? Well, I think we do need Derrick Rose to play in case there's some trades to show that he's healthy. But I hope he gets an opportunity to play. And if that's at the expense of Burke, I think that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I don't see a need for Rose to come back and play. I know kept giggles said I saw Rose shooting before the game. I don't know if that necessarily means he's going to come back and play. You know what I mean? He could just be out there shooting, testing out his ankle, so on and so forth. Knowing Derrick Rose, he would want to come back and play. I'm positive of that, but I don't know what the purpose would be besides, him just trying to get in shape and not having gone, when did he go out in December? Late December, early January. So, he probably wouldn't want to go 9 months without playing a basketball game. So I guess that would be a reason why he would play. But I don't know. I don't see a big reason for him to go out there and play unless somehow the Knicks really do creep back into it. Which is going to be, a tough task. The Knicks gained some ground on the Hawks, I guess, right? The Hawks lost to the Charlotte Hornets tonight, but they're 34-35 on the season. The Knicks are still 11 games below 500. They would need the Hawks to really, really slip really bad, in order for them to drop that bad. And I just can't see it happening. I've been saying that I think you're gonna have to be 500 to get into that 10th spot, and I don't think the Knicks gonna be able to do that unless something amazing happens from now on the rest of the season. I'm pretty sure they'll catch the Washington Wizards, but I don't think they'll be able to catch the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks are 34-35. The Charlotte Hornets are 35-35. The Brooklyn Nets, they're 36-34 with 12 games left to the season. They're trying to catch the Raptors, who are 38-30. It's looking like the Nets are going to be in the play-in. And, and maybe have to play the Toronto Raptors. I mean, listen, they lost their last game. They could end up in the 9th spot too. So, that could be a funny situation for Brooklyn. I would love for them to get eliminated in that being a playing tournament and get eliminated. Yeah. AU, what's going on, man? He said, yay, we're keeping Tibbs for another year of mediocrity. I guess we can, I don't know. Most of the people here were probably on the crossover. I didn't get to hear the entire conversation, about Tom Thibodeau, but I would say, Tony, when we did the game preview, you said this is the kind of game, if the Knicks lose, that even though they said that they were going to keep Tom Thibodeau, you could get fired. You know what I mean? Because, of what happened the last time you played them and the fact that they have none of their primary pieces out there on the floor. This is the type of thing that, where you could be going. What was that conversation about on the crossover earlier today with Tom Thibodeau? I got to hear some of it, but not all of it.
Well, I'll tell you, going right to the polls, it started off in Tibbs' favor, highly in Tibbs' favor, surprisingly. But by the end of the show, I think it was almost even, right? About 55-45, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 55-45.
55-45. Still in Tibbs' favor, but it crept up a lot. It started off in the 30s, I believe. So like 70-30. So I think the fan base is still pretty torn on Tibbs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think from what I watch or from what I got from like Twitter and everything else when it first got announced or whatever, it seemed like most of the focus shifted to Randall. All right, fine, but Randall got to go. So you know what I mean? I think more people are in favor of keeping Tibbs and moving Randall than per se moving them both, which I thought was the case initially.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought it was going to be like 70-30. That they were
The other way.
disappointed that Tibbs was coming back.
Right. I mean, it only makes sense for him to come back for one more season, at least. Let me just say that, at least one more season, see what happens, and then go from there. Especially if you haven't gotten him all of the players that he wants, not all of them, but the type of players that he wants. You got to see what happens when he gets the type of players that he wants out there on the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And again, as I said in previous streams, if you're Leon Rose, and maybe they've had this conversation already, but if you're Leon Rose, you sit down and you say, here's some things that I observed. I'm giving it to you, letting you know what I think about it. Now it's on you to, do what you got to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
And he's going to say the same thing to Leon Rose.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay. You give him now. Let me give you my list. I need some players like this, like this, like this, and like this.
Well, hopefully
see what you're gonna do with it.
Yeah, hopefully they cross-reference and they got two of the same guys on the list of 10 or something that they agree on.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, first of all, I think they're two close friends, right? So I don't think it's like, a lot of people, I don't think they're on the same page. I disagree. I think that they've known each other a long time, and so they are on the same page. You know what I mean? Even with the whole Cam situation, people took that to say that they weren't on the same page. But if you go back and listen to one of those post-game press conferences he had, or after practice press conferences, and he was asked about Cam, there's one where he says, we talked about this. You know what I mean? That, you're bringing in a player who is replacing a player who wasn't in the rotation, but Cam should be in the rotation. We had this discussion, and I think that discussion went, we're going to bring him in, but we're going to find a way to move some pieces so that he can play. And Tibbs was probably like, cool, but until then, this is how it's going to go. He's going to earn his stripes to get out here on the floor, You know what I mean? And they probably had a discussion, Leon Rose, World Wide West, whoever, and the coaching staff. This is how we're going to develop this guy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they felt like he needed, to be knocked down a peg or two. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make him sit here, earn his way on the floor like everybody else, and this is the way that we're going to help him develop some character for the game. Not that he doesn't, but, just this is how we do it. And you heard Tibbs say the other day, this is just how we do things here, because they asked him, coming down the stretch of the season, are you going to see, is Jericho Sims and Deuce McBride going to get minutes over Alec Burks and Evan Fournier and these guys? And, he's stuck to what he does. He said, guys are going to earn their minutes. This is just how we do things here. Guys are going to earn it. They're going to get what they deserve. You know what I mean? And, that's just how he does it. So I think that they did. I think they're on the same page. I think they're on the same page about the type of guys that they want to get in. Things don't always work out the way that you're playing. You know what I'm saying? I think that they thought that they were going to have some things in place to make some moves. They had a deal. It seemed as though they had something in place, a 3-team trade. It was Toronto and somebody else. The Lakers, I think. There was, I forgot who was in the trade. I don't remember, but there was a 3-team trade that they were pretty deep in talks with, and it fell through. And some pieces were going to be moved. I think Nerlens Noel was going to be moved. Alec Burks was going to be moved. I forgot who the Knicks were going to be getting back in that trade. I don't remember. But it was a move that would have cleaned up a lot of the clutter that's already on the team.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, the Knicks get a good win. They play Friday night versus the Washington Wizards. I'm looking forward to them getting that win. Right, the Washington Wizards, they've lost 5 in a row. They're 2-8 in their last 10 games. So I'm looking forward to the Knicks getting that win and fighting hard for the remainder of the season. Fighting hard. So, any last words before we get out of here? Tony, I'll start with you.
I'm with the team, man. We ride until the wheels fall off until we out of play-in contention. So right now it's win these games, go Knicks. Shout out to the chat. Peace, Queen. Sam, keep doing your thing. Your blackest time.
Yeah.
All that.
What is the magic number? Is there a magic number yet? Has anyone put out a magic number?
That's true. That's a good point. They usually do. We ain't even getting magic numbers. That's how far.
No, but in my brain, it's 2 more losses. When we can't reach 41, then I think you know what I mean. I think it's a wrap. I think we do got to get to 500, and at that point, I mean, that being said, that's only allowing one more loss. So it's highly unlikely.
Atlanta has 13 games left on the season. The Knicks have, what do they have? 13.
I think Breen said we had to go 10-4, and Atlanta had to go 5-9.
Okay.
And that's not even including, Charlotte or Washington or you know what I mean, like
I guess it's still a little bit early to figure out what that magic number is, but I'm pretty sure in the coming week or two we'll start to hear what that magic number is before the Knicks are officially eliminated.
Yeah, there's this link, but I don't really know how to read it. That's the 2021-20 NBA magic numbers. I'll put the link. I'll put it in the private chat. But I don't know how to I don't know how to read it.
Yeah, I guess I'll check it out, see what it is, see, because I might not know how to read it either.
Yeah, I put in
playoff magic numbers.
Yeah. Sim, read my super chat. I know it ain't got no money in it. If it ain't got no money in it, then we no, I'm kidding. Shout out to Josh.
Who said that?
Josh.
You can send a broke super chat. I didn't know you could do that.
I ain't know he could. Oh, it must be because he's a member. But you know what I mean.
You can send a super chat with no. Oh man, I'm gonna do that all the time when I'm.
You said, I
Josh, that's not a super chat. Then
I put my EBT number in the shit.
Hey, go ahead, put it in there. I'll use it.
Yeah, I mean, I just want the Knicks to keep developing this chemistry. Maybe the same team we have next year. Oh, his monthly super chat. Okay.
Oh, I see. He got a monthly. Yeah. He got a monthly super chat for being a member.
Really?
Yeah.
Out.
Get a monthly
I gotta
super
use
chat.
mine. I gotta use mine.
Said RJ is not the leader of the team yet, but you can see he is moving into that role organically. Fans often make the mistake of crowning guys too soon. No, he's not the leader yet, but he's getting there, and he's moving there quickly. You know what I mean? I think by next season, I don't know if he's going to be the bona fide leader of the team, but it's going to be a dual leadership, unless they get a real leader in there that's a point guard.
All right.
I guess I do want to ask this, and then we can just go ahead and get up out of here. Did the Knicks ever appoint captains this season?
I don't think so.
I don't think they did either. I don't think they did either.
I don't think they did.
We might not have hit that stretch where Tibbs is feeling comfortable enough to assign. You know what I mean?
You gotta earn that too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he did it late last year, right?
Did he?
I thought he did it like real late, like almost to like what's the point of doing it now? But I think it was last year.
Yeah, it's not necessary for a team to have captains, but I do think it helps you develop some structure, and maybe he just feels like, maybe he feels like there's certain people that he wants to be the captains, but they haven't developed that role. They haven't developed into that role yet.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm not naming anyone a captain, and I want to see these people develop into that role. We'll see. Steph, any last words?
Go Knicks, play hard. I'm trying to win every game. And wherever we land, we land. I mean, that's how the game is played. So that's
all right. All right. Yeah, I'm looking at this magic number thing. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I have no clue. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening. So I guess I'll wait. I'll wait. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I'm up out of here. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll have enough time to get on and do a shoot around show. I'll let everybody know, what's happening. But I appreciate you all. Thank you for your time. And rest easy. Good win by the Knicks, 128-98. Out. Oh, I looked the wrong way. I'm used to looking up to my camera, but I'm out.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.